everybody. I am Marina, the Trader Chick, and this is me, and this is me as well. And today I want to talk about how to get over yourself and have fun in day trading with four basic strategies. And you'll get a fifth one as a bonus. Okay, so before we begin and everything else, I have a really important question for you guys. Are you ready? Because I want to see some interaction, right? The whole point here, I know that you guys are all here, but day trading, what I always say, it is not a spectator sport. It is a very interactive sport. Okay, so I want you guys to be participating and having fun. Like that's the whole point of today. So my question for you, who here actually has fun when they are trading? Don't be shy and don't worry if you say you don't, because for years I wanted to. I convinced myself I was, but I wasn't. I was miserable. I was struggling. It was so hard. It was so stressful because there was certain things that I was doing and it was just, it wasn't working. So at the end of the day, when I really thought about it, I wasn't having the kind of fun that I wanted to have. And this is what I want to talk about today. What absolutely changed for me. And hopefully the people that are not answering is because you're kind of like, I'm not really sure. So hopefully today you will come out being like, I love it and I'm having so much fun with it. And this will be the reason why. So let me ask you this as well. How many of you guys drive a car or have been in a car? I know it sounds like a little bit of a silly question, but just go with it. Okay, how many? Because here's the reality, guys, that over in the entire world, there are at least a gazillion car accidents each year. I know if you haven't heard the word gazillion, it's just an exaggeration of lots, lots and lots and lots, right? So this is a very shocking and unfortunate fact, but it is a fact. There are gazillions of accidents happening all the time in the car. Yet every single day we get into our cars, we jam out to our tunes while driving, either with our kids or on our own. I know I've seen you guys, you're listening to music, dancing around, and even worse, we're sometimes texting, answering our phones. I've seen it, you've done it, I've done it. Unfortunately, we all get distracted in cars, right? It's just an unfortunate reality, right? And by the way, there are even more on motorcycles. And because I live in Guatemala, we can pile on as many people as we want without any issues, right? And even put our doggies on there. We like to live on the edge over here. So let me ask you another question. How many of you guys have lost a lot of money in the market? So if you're going to be telling me you haven't, unfortunately, that's not true, right? We have all been there. We have all lost money. And I know I personally have lost a ton. I lost a ton. And it sucks. It totally sucks. And I know that a lot of times people are like, well, that's just, part of the learning process. We're day trading. I don't want to believe that. I believe that we could avoid losing a ton if we start to focus on different things, right? But even though I've lost a lot of money, look at me. I still get to hug my kids every single day. I still get to be with my husband and go out and have fun. I still get to travel. I still get to do all of these things, right? So why is it that when we get into a car where the chances of a real life injury or even fatality are real, and yet we could still jam out to the music, we could still text, we could still get really distracted, and we could still have a lot of fun in our cars, right? So yet when we trade, the worst that could possibly happen to us is that we lose some money. But we treat it completely differently. We treat it with this deadly seriousness, and we tend to lose a lot of that carefreeness. All right. I know that some people have fun, but I'm sure it's that fear that we still have, and we lose it. And that fear could turn into emotional trading, which can really bring us into a bad place right away. Right. So don't get me wrong though, right? You cannot get into a car and just wing it, right? You do have to know how to drive a car. I mean, we have to understand the basics when we get into a car, right? We have to know where the steering wheel is. where the gear shift is, where the clutch is, where the brakes are. So it's kind of interesting. Right now, I'm in this amazing position where my 17-year-old son is learning how to drive a car. And when we sat down in the car with him, my husband was like, okay, put your foot on the brake and the clutch, put your gear into first, and start to release the clutch really slowly as you're putting it into first and starting to drive. And my son's like, wait, clutch, brake, gear. Like he had no idea because even though he's been a passenger, he's never actually sat in the driver's seat. And it's a whole other language, right? So if you don't understand those basics, like even where the horn is or where your seatbelt is, you're not going to be able to drive successfully, right? And I find that if that I find that is very similar with a trading, right? So trading is very much like driving this car, right? But we don't have that crazy risk that is involved because if you take the car without knowing how to drive it, pretty significant chance that you're going to crash, right? And get into a pretty serious accident. So with trading, the biggest risk is that we could lose money, right? But again, if you're sitting down to trade and you don't understand the basics of trading, you're going to end up crashing, right? That's just how it goes, right? So that's why I bring up the analogy of driving and trading because we forget when we first sat down in a car, and then the car is way, way, way more riskier than you'll ever have when you're trading, right? So we forget that we learn the basics of driving. So today, that is my goal is for you guys to have those basics and to really, really understand. So what I find a lot that happens is people that are obviously there are a lot of people that self-educate. They watch all these YouTube videos, they read all these books, they attend different summits. Their main concern is that they're doing something, but they don't really know if they're doing it well, right? Or if they're doing it right all along. Then you have the other scope of people that take a lot of courses. I personally took over $20,000 worth of courses. No joke. It was not the right courses. I'm not going to get into that right now, but so what I noticed is when a lot of times when you're in these academies and in these chat rooms, what happens is it's a similar analogy is if when you learn how to drive a car with a driving ed program, you're sitting in the car and the teacher has their own gas and brakes. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but the classes that I took and we sent our son to, they do so that if there is an actual issue, they could kind of control it, right? So what happens is a lot of times the students kind of just permit those teachers to control the situation and they don't really know what they're doing. And that's what I have found, especially with myself when I was in all of these live trade chat rooms, is that I was following somebody else's strategies and I was not fully understanding what was happening, but they were saying, oh my gosh, that's a great trade. And I was the one looking at the trade and I was like, wait, I don't understand what's going on. But if they're saying it's a good trade, that means it must be a good trade. I was getting in too late. I was chasing trades. And what was happening? I was losing a lot of money because I didn't understand what was actually happening in that moment. And that's something that we really need to understand. And a lot of times, so basically what I was doing, I was constantly just not driving my own car. I was never truly learning how to read my own charts, just simply following what other people were saying. And what happened to me? I ended up losing big time or crashing. I mean, I ended up losing almost $4,000 in 5 minutes chasing a trade, seeing it go the wrong way, yet trying to catch up with. I've already been with this academy for a while. They must know what they're doing, and I'm not. So what's happening was that I was still not. I wasn't driving my own car ever, right? And I'll be honest with you. I blew my account in 5 minutes. This was the third time in that month. This was over actually 7 years ago at this point, now that we're in 2022. And it was devastating because at this point I had been putting in all this time. I've been really, 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 really trying to get in and really trying to learn how to trade, but I wasn't doing it correctly. I wasn't understanding what was happening to me. I didn't understand how to drive my own car. And the sad thing is that I didn't stop. What I ended up doing was I revenge traded for another 2 days. And all of you guys, I'm sure, have revenge traded at one point or another. It's just an unfortunate reality of trading. It's emotional, right? Trading can get very emotional, but we can control that. And that is when that works when you understand what is happening to you, what is happening in front of you, and a strategy, right? And that's what I really want to talk to you about. So literally what happened to me is that I totaled my car more than 2 times. And that's when I officially had my breakdown. I mean, I remember that day, it was April. I just lost all this money and I was in my bedroom is where my office is. I was on the floor with my face down, flat, and I was just defeated. I was defeated. It wasn't even the financial thing. I was defeated mentally. Like, why am I not able to get it? And my husband comes in and he's standing over and he's like, why are you doing this to yourself? And why are you doing this to us? Like, it was that intense. And here's what happens when you have a breakdown. You have two decisions to make. You quit, you get out, you never trade again, or you have a breakthrough, right? Normally, that's what happens with breakdowns, right? A lot of people either like take the highway and never look back, or they have a breakthrough. And they always say, the breakdown brought you to the breakthrough. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of Nacho Libre. It's a really amazing movie. It's so funny. It's really cute. It's very family oriented. So Nacho is this character. Nacho Libre is from Mexico. They have Lucha Libre, which is like these luchadores, these wrestlers. So Nacho wants to be this wrestler, and he's horrible. He's horrible. And he's standing in front of, he's in a church and he's praying. And he was like, God, why did you make me give me this intense, insane passion to be this wrestling warrior and made me so lousy at it? Right. And he's standing there saying this. And I related so much because I was like, why did you give me such an intense passion to become a trader? And yet I feel I'm doing so poorly at it. And of course, for Nacho, everything turned around. He won. He became, the big man of town. And that's literally what happened to me. I'm not, big woman around town, but I finally did become a successful trader. One moment here. I need my nose is running a teensy bit. So at the end, I ended up having a breakthrough. But I did walk away. I walked away entirely for about 3 to 4 months. I completely walked away. I had to get away because it was just too much for me, right? It wasn't working. I was in a really bad mental state and I walked away. But because I knew that I couldn't quit, because I knew that I could do this, I came back. So what I decided to do this time, I had 3 monitors going on. I had over 10 indicators. I literally took my 2 monitors, which were pretty much new, put them outside for the garbage men. I never wanted to see them again. I stripped all of my charts completely. And I decided to just watch the bare naked charts and just learn what was happening in front of me. Basically, getting back to the basics of trading. Because interestingly enough, one thing I noticed, and again, I told you I spent over $20,000 on my education, all these different academies and schools and mentors, nobody ever talked about the basics. Whenever I was bringing up, hey, can you please explain to me, reversal patterns or what are divergences? Can you explain to me the sideways markets? I was either ignored or treated as if I'm supposed to be born with this information, but we're not, right? We cannot build a window without having a foundation, and our foundation takes one brick at a time. And I was never given those bricks. So I ended up studying those basics for years and years. Literally, it's like learning a new language, and I became fluent in the market language. That is the coolest thing of all, is that the market, it actually speaks to us. And once we could learn it to read it under any market condition, it can change, and it will change your entire trajectory and trading. And that is a guarantee. And that's what we're going to talk about, right? So before we hop in, I want to do a really quick intro and for you guys to get to know me a little bit better as well. So as I said, I am Marina, the Trader Chick. I live in Antigua, Guatemala. So for me, it's quite beautiful out. I know that some people from Florida are having gorgeous weather, but we have amazing weather here year round. Before I became a day trader, I was a fitness instructor. I was actually one of the very first fitness instructors in Manhattan to teach spinning and Pilates. That was another lifetime ago. And after that, I became a travel writer. So the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people believe that they have to have a financial background, an economics background, a math background. Completely untrue. Anybody at all could do day trading, and that's the beauty of day trading, right? The other thing is I'm trilingual. So I'm actually a Soviet Union from I'm sorry, I'm a refugee from the Soviet Union. I moved to the United States when I was really young. So Russian is my mother tongue. But because I was raised in the US from a young age, English is my main language. However, I've now been living as an expatriate. Some people were saying, what's an expat? I didn't realize that not everybody understood that. It's an expatriate, right? I'm not a resident or anything. I'm an expatriate here. I've been living in Central America for over 20 years. So I learned Spanish in my later years. I was in my late 20s. And the reason why I bring this up, as I mentioned before, when I went back to learning the charts and reading and finding and recognizing that the market has its own language, I think it happened because of how I learned Spanish. And if anybody in the room here has learned another language in their later years, you understand there's a process, right? First of all, you need to show up committed and practice it daily, right? That is something you need to do because otherwise it will never get better. So that practice, you need to find somebody that is patient enough to help you because you're saying something they have to say back, you're translating. And this is process, right? Everything has to go through your head. And all of a sudden, one day you'll wake up and you just speak the language. There's no more translations. There's nothing. You just speak it. And I found that with the markets, that is the same thing. So that's the reason why I bring it up is because it is literally like learning a new language. And a lot of people don't look at it like that. I remember I once was presenting in the Money Show live, and somebody came up to me. They're like, you know what? You're the first person that actually said that it's like a language, like a real language. And now I see it like that because we don't learn to read what the market is talking to us about. We just want to kind of see what's going on without really understanding. And that, unfortunately, brings us a lot of losses. So when we understand it better, we can talk to it better as well, and we can work with it, right? And the best thing about day trading, we all know what that is. You get to do it from anywhere in the world, right? And that's the coolest thing. So as I said before, I now trade with only one computer, one laptop, and it allows me to be able to go anywhere I want to go, right? And that's the coolest thing. And like I said before, I've been featured on quite a lot of different money shows. I used to do a lot more in person, like Money Show, Traders Expo, all these others. But after COVID, I really prefer doing these one-on-ones when we're all in the comfort of our own home. And the other thing is, and this could really be something that you could consider, what does your trading station look like? Right? A lot of times people are struggling, and then I'm like, okay, well, let's take a look at your trading station. So, does it look anything like this? Because let me tell you, I get that this is a cool thing to see, and we look at, the news and people have these kinds of things, but this is not sustainable. It's not a possibility to sustain it well because it's just too much going on, and too much analysis paralysis. It gives us too much stress, and it takes away the joy of the of trading, right? And this is what mine looks like now. This is me, and this is awesome because I was there. I didn't have all those, but I had three monitors. Three monitors, that's a lot, you know. And I was in constant analysis paralysis. I had over 10 indicators. So I use one chart because trading I have found to be simple and profitable, and importantly, fun. All right, this is my chart. I love it. This is all I use. I use two indicators. I use EMA lines, which is the exponential moving averages, and the MACDs. And my MACDs are the holy grail for everything to me because there's so many indicators that are lagging. So this is the one that is the least lagging indicator for me, at least I found, because it gives you a lot of information when the market is starting to lose strength. And that's really important. Okay, so let's talk about what are the basics of day trading. Just 1 second here, guys, before we hop in. Oops. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. Got it. Okay. So let's begin. So one thing that I do want to bring up is that I am here to help you guys to get better. So make sure that you ask whatever questions pop up. I promise to get to them, all of your questions. So let's begin with the first most important thing, the movement and the breakdown of a trend. All right. So logistically, we know that there are three trends, right? We understand that there is an upward trend. We understand that there is a downward trend. And we know logistically that there is a sideways trend. However, what is a sideways trend? So a lot of people might know it as the indecision area, consolidation, transition, the chop, exhaustion pattern. It's a place where it's just there's a no more momentum, right? It's just flat. It's bouncing. It's kind of just back and forth. It's channeling. It's a pretty ugly market, right? So it's important for you to recognize this because I can guarantee right now that the majority of all your profits for the day get lost in this mark, in the sideways zone. Why? Because this is a place where there's too much indecision. There's no direction going on. And I'll actually explain why it happens a lot to traders, right? So before we get there, I want to first break it down, right? What is an upward trend? I mean, we understand that each pivot is higher than the next. That's a pretty much basic upward trend. We could call it a bull market, market trending up, market going up, whatever you want to call it. This is also a place where you will be buying or going long. What does that mean? It means you're entering at a lower price point, exiting at a higher price point, and taking all the profits in between, right? You're going along, you are buying. Okay, then we have the downward trend, exact opposite. Each pivot is lower than the other. Now, it's really important for you to understand that traders, we do not care if the market is going up or if the market is going down because we make just the same amount of money or more sometimes when the market goes down, right? It's all about technical analysis. Okay, so what is going down? This is where we're looking for a short, where we are selling, right? We're entering at a higher price point, exiting at a lower price point, and we're taking that profit in between. Okay, it is where we are shorting the market. It is the bear market, the market going down. Now, we also have in between, like during the day, depending on the kind of trader you are, but you could also really monetize on immediate, immediate momentums, which pretty much is just a deeper correction, right? So you can have the overall trend going up and all of a sudden it changes direction and you can monetize on that immediate momentum, but still know, wait, it's been going up all day. If it doesn't continue, no problem. I already got my trade. I'm now going to start looking for that long again because it's been going up all day. All right, so let's talk about consolidation areas and transition areas. I literally call these the trader's worst enemy because this is where all of our money gets lost. Okay, and not only your profits, sometimes even into the negatives, right? These areas are right here. I really want to bring these up and talk to you about why we end up losing money here, and it's not why you think. So here's the reality. Day trading is an emotional activity, right? We all know that it is very emotional and it's hard, right? Like you could easily go from feeling all great to losing one trade and then ending up losing everything. So what happens when you're an emotional trader? We tell ourselves stories. What does that mean when you're telling yourself a story? So here's the deal. I'll give it to you in layman's terms. Imagine you just met somebody, right? It could have been like, it could be a romantic interest or a new friend. It doesn't matter. And you're getting along really well. And they're like, hey, I'm having a party in 3 days. I'm going to call you tomorrow to give you all the information about the party. And you're all excited because, you know, you're making a new friend. You go home. The next day comes and goes and they don't call. And now your stories come to life. Maybe they didn't like me. What did I say? Did I say something bad? Maybe they were talking to one of their other friends and they don't really, and the friend didn't like me and now they don't want to invite me, right? All these negative stories. Those are stories. 2 days later, this friend calls, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My phone fell in the toilet and I lost everybody's contacts. So the reality of that story was all a lie, right? Because you completely made it up. Why do I say this? Because that's what we do to ourselves when we are trading, especially in situations like this. So here's the kind of rhetoric that goes on when we see this in our heads. So the market's going up and all of a sudden it started to consolidate. There are two types of traders. One kind of trader is the trend is your friend kind of trader. So they're seeing this and then they're seeing the consolidation and they're starting to tell themselves the story. Oh, you know what? The market's been going up all day. I'm going long. It's going to continue going long. Then there's the second kind of trader, the contrarian trader. You know what? The market's been going up all day. It's got to correct. I'm going short. Here's the reality, guys. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. It is not going to do either of those stories. So you need to get out of your head and back into the chart. Why? Because the chart right here in front of you is telling you one thing and one thing only. What is it telling you, guys? I want to hear from you guys because I know there's a lot of people in the room. So I actually want to hear from you guys. What does it look like? What is it telling you when you're seeing this kind of a market? I would like to know what you guys think this is when you're seeing this market. Come on, guys, don't be shy. You can answer. Let me know. What do you guys think is being done here whenever we're seeing this kind of a market? Sideways shop, yes, but what is it telling you? Like when you're seeing that sideways shop, what would be the activity, the action that it is telling you to do? Yeah, it is definitely choppy. So here's the thing, guys. In trading, our job as a retail individual trader is three things only. Yes, do nothing, stay out. Exactly. Very true. There are three positions that we do in trading. One, know when to get in. Two, know when to get out. And three, and the least used is know when to stay out entirely. Okay. And this is that time when we stay out entirely. All right. So this is what it looks like, right? We're heading down. All of a sudden, we have this massive consolidation. We stay out because we don't know if it's going to continue going down because boom, it could transition and go into another one. I personally am a scalper. I go for really small profits and my targets are small. So this type of a consolidation could have a huge impact on my trading. So I stay out even if I see a small consolidation. And we see these all the time, right? So this is also used to be able to find the breakout trades. The breakout trades are the ones that really give us the most amount of movements, right? And the most amount, highest probability of trading. So this is what the consolidation area is. Now, the most important thing is how do you recognize and actually draw it in so you can stay out of those areas. And that is all about areas. The market respects areas. And we as well need to respect them as well, right? And what are those areas? Those are support and resistance areas. And they are so important. So I think of support and resistance areas like this. We all know of Formula One racing, right? I don't care if you like it or if you don't, if you've never watched it, but you've heard of it, right? You all know what it is. It's a, high, high energy racing, I don't know, car racing division, right? So it is a known fact amongst the drivers and people that are really into Formula One is that 25% of Formula One drivers either have a massive crash or even a fatality. I mean, it's serious, right? It's a risky sport. So would you ever see a Formula One driver get into the car without their helmet, without their seatbelts, without their fireproof uniform? Absolutely not, right? They get in there, they are fully prepared. Yet trading, 95% of traders fail. They still get in without any safety measures. Support resistance areas, those are our safety measures. Those are like our seatbelts. Why? Because the market respects areas. And if the market is respecting an area, do you really want to try and go into that area and think you're going to outdo that market? No, you need to draw it in, and it's not a mental image, it's an actual image so that it's here. You can't just mentally put on a seatbelt, right? You have to put it on. So you have to have your areas drawn in. So let's really break down these areas. What is a resistance area? It is literally the ceiling of the market. It's literally the ceiling of the market, right? That's what it is. So the market is being hit over and over and over again. You need to draw that in and understand this is an area that the market is respecting, and you stay out because it could continue and break through, or it can totally transition. So this is a resistance area. This is the ceiling, right? So it's where it really slows or stops the market down. So you need to stay out of it, and you need to have this drawn in. What is a support area? It's the floor of the market. It's where the market is hitting over and over and over again, the floor. Anything over 3 or 4 times, that is a strong area, right? You need to understand, and you have to have this drawn in because this could be a huge impact. It could either continue down, we don't know, or it could completely transition. But in the meantime, it could actually stop you out, right? So this is what a support area looks like. Then you add these in for the channel. You have your resistance area and you have your support area. And you have these drawn in. You have your seat belts in place so that you are not entering these areas to lose money. And that alone, if you guys could keep this going on, like not entering these types of areas, not trying to outdo the market or predict what the market is going to do, or even worse, beat the market, you will be winners, right? So this is really important to understand support resistance areas, and don't just draw them in mentally, really, really draw them in. Okay, reversal areas and divergences. To me, this is the holy grail. This is the trader's map to shift in direction and trend. So what are reversal areas? Reversal areas are double tops, triple tops, double bottoms, triple bottoms, head and shoulders. They are indicative, right? They have a very high potential of telling you the market is about to reverse or slowing down. And you never want to be in a market that is slow or losing strength, right? So here's what a reversal pattern looks like, right? This is a triple top. It first begins as a double top, then moves on to a triple top. Now, when you couple that with divergence, I love divergence. I live for it, and it has never steered me wrong. Absolutely love it. And it's so simple. So I said before, I use my MACDs. So as I mentioned earlier, they are the least lagging indicators. So here are the MACDs. As you can notice, they are starting to head down, yet my price action is heading up. What is it telling me? There's divergence. Slow down. Don't enter the market. The market is slowing down, and you want to be on top of that. So here's what the reversal pattern looks like, right? It is not telling me 100% that it's going to reverse, but it is telling me there is a very high potential it is. So I need to stay out so that I can enter when it actually does, right? And with this divergence, look at this. It's already telling me that it's slowing down, and look what happens. It becomes totally flat and totally ugly. Okay, and then when I have a divergence from a reversal pattern with this double bottom, look at that. That is 100% for me to stay out. Like I don't even think twice about it. Okay, so here's that double bottom. However, if you look here, you see how it continues on, and here it's flat. The divergence is already telling me beforehand. So I'm a very conservative trader. I would already be listening and sitting and watching. Okay, so let's put all of this together. As I mentioned before, if you don't have any of these areas drawn in or understanding, you can miss out on literally the most probable trade out there, and that is the breakout trade. Okay, so what is the breakout trade? As you can see here, the market is continuing up. We have this resistance area, and boom, it breaks out in the same direction. So let me break this down to you a little bit easier so that you guys understand in layman's terms what exactly is a breakout trade. Imagine you are living right here and you're living south, and your best friend or sister, brother calls you up and they're like, "Hey, I'm having an impromptu barbecue. Come on over." And you're like, "Okay, cool." You get in your car, you've driven to your friend to their house a million times. You're getting on the highway, you're driving, you're full of confidence, but all of a sudden there's this big detour, construction ahead. And the detour is telling you got to get off the road. And you're freaking out. At least I am. I freak out because, oh my God, this is what's going on in my head. What if they don't put any more signs and I get lost? Google Maps and Waze hasn't caught up to the detour yet. What if I have no idea where to go? What if I have to take this way forever? I'll get there after the party. What if, what if, what if? So what's going on in my head? Uncertainty, right? Do I want to be doing anything in that uncertainty time? Absolutely not. I want to wait until confirmation. And then all of a sudden there's this huge sign saying, okay, you can get back on the highway and continue on. And that's where my certainty comes back in. Boom, I get back on the highway, I'm breaking out and I'm pressing on that accelerator and I'm in my zone. That's what a breakout trade looks like. Okay. You're heading up, detour area, confusion, indecision, boom, breakout, continuation. All right. So let's talk about how these breakout trades really work. So here is the resistance area. I have this massive, beautiful, look at this movement on my MACDs and price action. This is the zero line where there's absolutely no strength, no energy at all. But here it's way, way, way ahead. And I use my EMA lines as the place to enter. It's literally like an archer. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen an archery competition, but archers don't walk around aimlessly on a field. They have a very specific place to stand from and a very specific place where their target is to be hit. So this is where I stand from. So whenever the market is finally going in the right direction, boom, I place my order right here where it belongs. And if the market hits me, because I'm telling the market where it belongs, I am telling it, okay, this is where I want to enter and this is where I'm going to exit. So I'm giving it that notice, right? So let's talk another bonus trade. It's the initial reaction trade setup, I call it, right? So here we have that massive resistance area, massive support area, and boom, it breaks through entirely. Look at this massive movement. And now I call this initial instant reaction because it is the very first trade to be taken in a new trend, right? When there's a new trend, you want to be in the very beginning of it because that's when the majority of the energy is. And that's when you could go for the highest probability. I mean, the highest target rate, right? So that's what I call that. Now, I want you to make sure to stay until the very end because I have a bonus for you. So now what I want to do is actually take you into the live market. Okay, so you guys should be able to see my charts. Are you able to see my charts? Let me know in the question room, please, if you're able to see my charts. Let me know, yes, no, yes, awesome. Okay, so here's the deal, right? I trade the E-minis predominantly. That's my main trading instrument that I work with. So I use Ninja Trader for my charts. You do not at all need to use Ninja. You could use any good trading platforms out there. My husband right now is completely addicted to TradingView. He says it's without a doubt the best. And watching him, I have to admit, it's been pretty great. I've just been with Ninja for the past 10 years. So this is how I enter the market. And as you can see today, we had a pretty big dumping. And now what's going on? We are in a pretty significant channel, right? It's pretty significant. Like this area has been visited over and over again quite a lot of times. So I could just do this, right? Because I personally watch what's happening more or less right in front of me. But areas are an approximation as well, right? Hang on just a second here. Okay. So here is what I've drawn in. However, it's a pretty wide channel, right? It's a nice channel. So I would be interested to definitely get in if I see it going in this direction right now. Right now, as you can see, it's super, super slow. So as I mentioned before, I only use two indicators, right? I use my EMA lines and my MACDs, and that's all I use. However, what I also use is a tick chart. So as you can see right here, I have ticks remaining. What does that mean? So I use a 610 tick chart. I don't trade with a 1 minute or a 5 minute chart. I'm a scalper, so I like to look at a really short time frame. So what I do is I use tick charts. And tick charts are for each bar, there are 610 in at the moment real-time transactions going on, right? So I know how much volatility, how much volume is happening in the moment because the volume indicators, they could be really lagging. And volume is an important thing, right? Because we want to be in a volatile market. We want to be in a market that really moves. So this is interesting right here, right? So we obviously have a pretty significant head and shoulders forming. So for me, I would not be even near touching going down because if it does go down, it's going to hit here again. So I am waiting until it either breaks through or goes up into this particular, or goes for a long, right? Or starts to head up. So at the moment, I have massive divergence. You can see that right here, right? You have this going here, going down right here, right? And all you see here is a really strong line heading up, right? So I personally am not going to be looking into this trade until I see a lot more movement, either heading down that it really breaks through, or like I said, going up. But I won't know this unless I draw this in, because you never want to be in a guessing game when it comes to trading. You want to always be on the, you want to have the edge, right? You want to be able to understand what is happening. And look at this. There's been a lot of strength going here. And look what happened. Boom. It hit this support area, right? There's a reason why drawing these areas are really important. I get a lot of people are like, oh, but that bar is really long. That candlestick is really strong. I'm getting in. And I'm like, but be careful. There might be an area. You might just hit a wall. You know, it's like those crash test dummies. They're driving 100 miles an hour into a brick wall. And that's what a lot of support and resistance areas can actually be, right? So we want to be able to stay away until we have real confirmation. And for me right now, it just keeps on going into a massive divergence. It's not going further until I see a total break. I'm not interested in this market. And that's okay. You have to give yourself permission to understand this is when I sit and I watch what the market is doing. Okay. And it's really, really important to be able to give yourself that permission. I get a lot of people are like, well, I only have an hour. This is the only time I could do my trading. I'm like, well, imagine if you're going to take a week and go to the beach to surf, because you want to surf, you're a surfer, and you get to Hawaii, the North Shore, and that week it's flat. Mother Nature is not giving you anything at all. Are you going to get angry? No, because sometimes you're like, you know what? It just happens. Like sometimes there's just no waves. Sometimes the market isn't going to give you anything in the moment. So you either have patience, sit and wait it out, or you leave and come back. But you don't get angry at the market, because that's just silly, right? And I used to get angry at the market all the time, but the market is going to do what the market is going to do. And that's just how it goes, right? And this is now a pretty significant support area, one that I have no interest in even coming near at all. Okay. So this is watching the market. This could actually be here for quite some time. You can see that it's slowing down a little bit. It is kind of around lunchtime. People are just coming back from lunch. You have to take all of those factors into account just the same. Okay. Okay. So let's continue here. Okay. So now I have another really, really important question for you guys. How many of you struggle with your trading and your strategy and a plan, or even worse, not having one? Because that is a real significant thing, right? Thanks, Jack. Yes, it's all psychology. So a lot of people don't realize, I get a lot of people that are like, well, I totally could read the markets, I could read the charts. But I'm like, 90% of trading is the psychology that goes with it, right? It's having a very solid strategy, but the psychology is 90% of it. And if you're not in control of what's happening, you could become very emotional, and that becomes really difficult. So for me, trading is about the simplicity. It's about seeing what's in front of me, but it's also understanding what is going on in my head, but also having that solid foundation. I avoid the stress and the analysis paralysis that goes with trading. And that is with too many indicators, with this and that. And just, I want to avoid that analysis paralysis as much as I can. And that's what I do. I help day traders to read the markets with confidence and ease, to be able to listen to what the market is actually saying in front of you. Right. And that is so, so important, because if you don't understand what it's saying, if you cannot read it, it's going to be a challenge for you to understand when to get in. And I have mastered the art of the high probability trade setups. And that is really what we're looking at, right? Because it's all about the probabilities, the numbers. And here's the reality check, guys. Too many seasoned and aspiring traders are experiencing more losses than wins. And that is a reality check, right? And it's too bad, because people think that they could read the charts and maybe could do this or maybe understand something, and then they don't have the full understanding and the basics, right? I always have traders coming up to me after a presentation asking, How do you trade from anywhere in the world with just your laptop and be consistently profitable in only a couple of hours per day? I only trade for like 30 minutes to an hour and a half, to be honest with you, because my mind cannot handle anymore, right? I get drained. And then once I start to get drained, and it doesn't matter if I'm having an all winning day because the energy is still draining, that's when it turns into emotional trading day. And that's when I start to lose. And you never want to go there, right? So when people started asking me that, I started to make videos and tutorials and easy things to follow. And before I knew it, I created an entire library that I want to share with you right now. And now I'm introducing to you Simplifying Day Trading course. Okay, so this course can be done on any apparatus, desktop, laptop, tablets, iPhones, Androids, you name it. You could do it there. Here's what you will get in the course. First and foremost, you will get the simplified package of understanding what the course is, what trading is, and to be able to set up your platform. I cannot tell you the amount of people that I get that don't even understand how to read their charting software and are putting in their money trying to figure out by going live. So we go past that, right? We go totally past that. It's like getting into your car and you don't want to waste your time figuring out where's the steering wheel, where's this. You want to have it ready so that you can move on to the next step. So we go through all that so that it's simple, so that you can get right into the actual trading, right? And not waste any more time. It took me over 5 months to figure this out. I'm not kidding you. So everything that I'm going through here is that I wish I had somebody offering this to me, because none of the academies helped me with the setups, nothing. It took me ages. Okay, then we're going to hop into the dissecting of the market. So everything that I have learned after sitting in front of the markets for years, dissecting them, understanding the trending markets, sideways, upwards, downwards, understanding and really using those magic telltale signs for the reversals, divergences. So everything that I have gone through, the trial and errors, I'm giving it to you to cut out all that time, and understanding the breakouts, because breakouts, they are magical, right? But you need to understand when there's a reversion, divergence, when there is reversal patterns, and also back testing, preparing yourself, preparing the table. Like I said before, it is a mental thing, right? You cannot just hop into your platform, into your trading when your kid is sick and you're still with your mind is still with your child being sick. And wait, I think I see a good trade, and getting in, and it's the wrong trade because your mind is not here. You want to prepare yourself for being in front of the market. Think of, Michael Jordan. We all know who Michael Jordan is. Do you really think he's going to have like some chaos and then get into a game and still be in that chaos? He takes that time to prepare himself. And that's exactly what we do here. And then the live trading support, going live. We could do great in sim, but that transition from going from sim into going live, it's there, because all of a sudden it's real money. You've got, that your adrenaline is pumping, and we go through that together, and maximizing your profits while minimizing the risk. Super important. And you will have a solid trading strategy plan. This is crucial, guys. You cannot go do anything without that strategy, without that actual strict plan that you can fall back on. Because if you're just roaming aimlessly in the world of charts and trading, it's going to get you eventually, because you need to have that plan, right? You need to understand exactly what is happening in front of you. Reversal patterns. Okay, it's a high potential of reversal. I'm not going to get in until I see the actual move in the opposite direction or a breakout. And all of this you will get with is unlimited access to the curriculum. So again, everything that is in this curriculum right now, the setting up the platform. I wish somebody was there to totally just help me get past and move on. Struggled for years. Understanding the market language, the implementation, the mindfulness guide, the mind preparation. Because if you're not prepared mentally, I don't care what you know. You're going to get out, you're going to lose, and you're going to be back at zero. And we don't want to be there. The live trading support and having that solid strategy, all this alone is valued at $2,000. Plus, you get access to curriculum all the time. Now, I have one other really important question for you. How do you know you are doing it right? As I mentioned before in the beginning, a lot of us self-educate. A lot of us go to these summits. Maybe we do some courses where we're not really understanding, we're not really grooving with the strategy. And who is there? to actually be able to help you understand if you are doing it right. How do you know if you're doing it right? Like, for instance, this was one of my students. They were over trading. This is not sustainable. This is where you end up losing just in the commissions alone, but they didn't know that. They don't understand that. Then this is another student of mine who put in this area. But by this time, we've had like 100 beautiful setups. 100 is exaggerated, but we've had some seriously good setups here. But this is not an area. So who's helping you understand this much better? So I have students from all over the world, and that's the beauty of trading, right? We can trade from all over the world. It doesn't mean only US or Europe or Australia. It is from anywhere in the world. Here's what one of my students has said to me. I can't even explain how important and how many aha moments I've had with Marina's easy to follow modules and her support. Another, Chad. After talking to Marina, I knew our trading styles were similar, but something was missing from mine. I started applying what I learned from her, and it's helping me keep out of the chop. My win percentage is now increasing. I wish I could have met her in 2016. And Dawn. Marina truly helps her students learn trading skills to ensure the confidence and teaches for proper trading habits to reduce the greed tendencies, because greed will get you guys. And let me share something really, really important to you. Why is it that athletes, CEOs, super successful people work with coaches and mentors, and it's okay, but we tend to not want to work like that? So what I created is, with this course, you will get 6 months of one-on-one mentorship with me, because that is the key. So you don't have to sit there wondering, am I doing this right? How do I know if I'm doing this right? One-on-one, unlimited, emailing, videoing, one-on-one, you get that, and that is part of this deal. Okay, without a mentor, how can you really get to the top? Okay, so let me give you another example of what is in this course: trade setups. I have all my trade setups right there for you. I know a lot of academies, what they do is you join them and then they start to charge you per trade setup or per this. No, it is included. You get up to 10 customized trade setups for any market condition, and you will fall back on that and you could use it even though if you want to grow on your own. You have those setups right there. $1,500 value alone. And like I mentioned before, I only go for the high probability trades because I'm super conservative. Okay. You know where to enter, where to exit. That's all part of it. And the best for last, everything that we are doing, implementing, working in the course, I also run a live trade chat room. It is me in there. There are no moderators. There are no people that are throwing, oh, wait, you got to do this. It's me. And it's an incredibly supportive group of traders as well, where we watch, we put everything into action, we implement, we are in the live market, we take live trades. And that is the most amazing thing. And that is part of this offer, 30 days. So everything is a total value of $7,000. Now, imagine this course can finally allow you to earn $50,000 to $100,000 extra per year trading. It will be completely worth it. Imagine if all this was cut your learning time in half. If my course can shorten your time to get your trading goal by half the time and avoid the pain and frustration, so much wasted energy, then wouldn't that be worth that one time $7,000? I have purposely made my course unlike any others. My years of experience with my simplified strategies, what you will get, and will take you to that next step. It will really help excel your day trading. Because here's the deal. I could have made this program super cheap, but my investment in my students, the time I spend with each student during their mentorship, that coaching that I offer cannot be offered to a widespread amount of students. It's just not possible. I simply won't be able to focus on you. And that is the goal, right? Because here's the thing. So many traders fail. This is a known fact. And I'm not going to sugarcoat that for you because you all know that. The thing is, do you want to be another statistic? With a simplifying trading course, you will not be that statistic. If you were a successful trader right now, financially and fully supporting your family, plus you will get to do what you love for only a short period of time per day from anywhere in the world, what's that worth to you? How much would you invest today to live your life doing what you love, not wasting and more time with inconsistencies and doubt and donating your money to the market? And finally, have the time for yourself and not to worry about money. You can see why people pay $7,000 for these results because it's not a cost, it's an investment. So, for you guys, only the people that are live participating today, one time fee of $448. One time fee. If you go right here, simplifyingfutures.com, right now, right here, you will get that one time fee, $448, and you could actually start with $99. I have a special payment plan, $99 right here, right now. So I have some questions that I'm seeing right here, right now. I find myself getting angry at the market. Yeah, Jack, of course, but it's not the market because the market is going to do what the market is going to do, right? It's just that's what's going to happen. It's just going to do what it's going to do. Okay. The market is always right and does not care what you think about it. Very true, Darby. That's the reality. And I noticed you have a website. Do you have many people on your staff? It's me, Jack. I am the only one working it because I don't believe in having many people. I find that that's wrong, right? So my students are always amazed that it's just me. So you'll only be working with me. I'm the moderator. It's always just me. This is for the trading, day trading only. I have limits on my account. So Mark, those limits are because you want to do a margin account. You could start with $1,000. You do not need to worry about the limits. It's not at all. Yeah, that's your broker wants you to get a margin account. You do not need that at all. Yeah, I'm busy, but I enjoy it. I only trade for an hour and a half a day. My kids are in school all day, so the rest of the time I spend with my students, and I love it. And that's the whole point, right? So, Mark, yes, you could absolutely get started with only $1,000, depending on the market you want to begin with, right? So go here, guys, right now, simplifyingfutures.com. And here's some more of my students. Best decision I ever made was taking this course. You're honest about needing time to practice before going live. This is not a get rich quick trade setup. Marina's courses can make you a star. Learning about the stop placement, she'll teach you all of that, the trends, analyzing how the markets are doing, reversals, any upcomings. You should take both her courses, ask her about the details. Best of luck. Simplifyingfutures.com. Go here, guys. And remember, I can only take 25 students. I am unable to take more than that because I really want to give you my full attention and my commitment to you guys. And that's really the goal. So remember, and remember that extra bonus for you guys. You get 30 free days membership in my live trade chat room. 30 free days. Simplifyingfutures.com. You have a margin account with Tasty Trade. So get out of the margin account. Mark, I'll be real honest with you. This is what a margin is. Brokers like to make it sound pretty, but a margin is if you don't have any more money, we will lend you extra money. So if you lose that money, we don't care because now you have to pay us back and you're paying us with interest. Do not put yourself into the position where you could lose more than you can. Get out of the margin account. You do not need a margin account. It is not mandatory. It is not obligatory. I promise you, you do not need that. And once you get out of that, you are going to be golden and you have a lot more accessibility and privileges. What is the average price of the stocks that the trade? So I go for 1 point. 1 point is $50, but with multiple contracts, if I go with 10, that's $500 because I'm in and out of trades, and that's the beauty of it. I do Zoom. I also do interactive audio. I send personalized videos for each of the charts that my students send me. It is unlimited. Okay, Mark, you need the trade room is included in here. All you need to do right now is focus on getting good because there's a joke that Richard Branson always says, if you want to be a millionaire in the airline business, start as a billionaire, right? Because when you don't know what you're doing, money is not the problem. First, learn the strategy. Money will be next. Learn the strategy. If you can have thousands and millions and gazillions of dollars, but if you don't have a strategy, you'll lose it. So Mark, start to focus on the strategy and I can guarantee it will completely take you to the next level of trading. And that is a fact. The website is not coming up. I guess I'm getting simplifyingfutures.com. Let's see, it should come up. Let me see here. Oops. Hang on just a second, guys. Simplifying. Yeah, this is where you're coming up, right? So it will take you right to the actual um, order form. So you can go to right here. And as you can see right here, $99 per month. So it redirects you to here, simplifyingfutures.com. So guys, join me today because I am there for you one-on-one. Here's some more of my student testimonials. Marina's right. Start today. I wish I found about Marina sooner. I mean, $448. I know for a fact nobody offers that with all that I am giving you, the 6 months of one-on-one, the 30 days live in my trade chat room. You'll not get that from anybody else because for me, it's about making sure that my students are really working. I'm trading, so I'm having a blast anyways. I just wanted you to know that I'm thoroughly enjoying your classes, so helpful on my trading journey. I have zero experience in this area, and even being non-techie, non-math, stand-at-home mom, I feel I'm totally catching on. So remember, this is everything that you guys are getting. 30 minutes platform trade, platform setup, the language, right? Everything that I wish that I was given, but nobody was there to teach me. So I just want you to cut out all of that stuff and get right into trading, the mindfulness, because a lot of people overlook this preparation of the mind. And that's when they end up losing a lot because they don't realize, wait, you need to actually prepare yourself. And we really go into that. And the live trading support, because in 6 months, you will be going live and I will be there to support you to do that. And you have your solid trading strategy completely there. And we work 6 months one-on-one together. 6 months unlimited one-on-one together. All right. Having a mentor can take you to that top. And that's all it can just be, that little push, but it can make all that difference. And you get 10 trade setups. You get my trade setups, nothing extra. You'll never be paying extra for any of this stuff. Okay. And the whole value is $7,000 plus you get the 30 days free worksheet. And for you guys, only 25 students, only $448. And like I mentioned a little bit before, you can start with easy payments of $99 today. $99, that's less than a trade. That's less than what you guys trade. Okay, this is where you're going to go to, simplifyingfutures.com, simplifyingfutures.com. Go here right now, guys. You should be able to get there. If not, please email me and I'll let you know 100%. Simplifyingfutures.com, right? So I cover futures, but a lot of my students are using it for stocks. They're using it for different instruments and are doing incredible. Okay, yeah, Mark, please do. It's simplifyingfutures.com, or Anna put in the actual link right there. What about correlation between markets? What do you mean by that? I'm not understanding that question, Jack. Do you have internet access from where you are at? Absolutely. I wouldn't be talking to you otherwise. This is 100% through internet, right? So yes, absolutely. All right, guys, simplifyingfutures.com. Let me know if you have any other questions. And I'm really excited to work with you guys. Just the mentoring, just being there at your side is worth all of this. Okay? So let's do it, guys. Let's begin. And let me know if you guys have any questions at all. I'm here to help. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking that time. And thanks, Anna, again, for having me on the show. Really awesome. Well, do you really want to work with oil and the dollar, Jack? Because masters can't do it all. Masters focus on the one thing. Let's focus on one market and really, really kill it. And then we'll go to the next because that's the most important thing. Okay, so let's do it, guys. And again, $99. You're going to get started with $99. Simplifyingfutures.com. Let's do it. I'm super excited to work with you. And thank you. Thank you so much for taking out the time because that's the most amazing commodity that we have. And you gave that to me today. All right. I'll see you guys all in the course. Thank you, everybody. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. And I'll see you there. Thanks, everybody. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the group. Mark, Shane, Jack, thank you, everybody. Darby, for being here. And thanks again.